Hello, welcome to April 21st, 2022. I'm feeling chipper. I don't know why. Not only did I wake up an hour before the alarm, an hour and a quarter hour, what would that be? An hour and 15 minutes before the alarm. I actually got up, came out here and went to work. I woke up, two words were in my head. I just, like this, it's like, bong, change control. About as boring as risk management. And I was thinking about the change control process that I need to set up for one of my projects. And I was like, I need to set up a change control board and I need to get it in place and it has to be ready for the transition. And I was thinking, well, wait a minute. Doesn't my organization already have a change control board for the overall organization? Can't I just leverage that and use that? And yes, that I think I can, but is that correct enough? Do they have enough detail to understand? Well, of course they do. That's what was going on in my head. And I realized there's no way I'm getting back to sleep. I said, to hell with it. Well, I laid there for 15 minutes trying to, recover my rest. But it just didn't work, so I just got up and literally fired up the computer and started sending emails. So I'm all caught up. You know what? That's probably why I feel so good right now. There's something to that. I always feel good at the end of the day when I finish work because I work really hard. I never slack off. I think I'm incapable of slacking off. As a result, always by the end of the day, I feel really good. I feel like what I do right now. It's like, well, great, did that, but I'm tired, right? Because my brain's been through the ringer. But this morning, I'm not tired and I feel good. So that's good. I guess it's just hopeless. As long as I'm a working man, this is going to be my reality. You can probably even hear the computer. I left it running. It's actually doing something for me right now. I'm moving some files around. Okay, so as for this is my good life meditation. I do this every day to remind myself of my objectives and principles and to see how I did applying them yesterday and to plan for today. Yesterday, I talked about my sleep. Otherwise, I slept good up until the waking up. I actually feel rested. Let's see if I feel that way 5 hours from now. It's my Friday. It's a Thursday. Tomorrow's an off Friday. Although I'll have some work to do tomorrow. I'll still have things to do. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I've got some fun things planned. Otherwise, yesterday, you remember I told you if you saw yesterday's video, Emily had said something to me that had upset me in the evening, the day before. And I had handled it using Temperance again. I realized that, and also the principle of good emotional reactions, and maybe recognizing what is and what is not within my control. I realized in the moment that what she had said had upset me, and it was over dinner, and I decided that if I tried to address it at that moment, that my upset would be visible and evident and come through and would color everything. So I decided to just be quiet. Yumiko read the air, so to speak, as the Japanese do, and she told Emily that, it wasn't like I was gloating. I was just, like this, eating my meal. And Yumiko stepped in and told Emily that her father and she would talk about it and get back to her. And we did. We talked about it yesterday. Remember, this happened 2 days ago. We talked about that, Yumiko and I, over lunch when we took the dogs for the walk to the dog park. And we decided, excuse me, I might sneeze. Pardon me. Yumiko and I decided how to address it. And our plan. We decided together. And then in the evening last night over dinner, I shared that plan with Emily. I was the spokesman for the plan. And it worked out really, really well. You know, Yumiko had, over lunch, Yumiko had pointed out some things to me. She has a more encompassing view sometimes. My view is about 90 degrees. Hers is more like 240. And she brought some perspective from my blind spot that I couldn't see. They helped me to see. And then they bore proof. They shown to be correct in the evening. And I felt really good about that. I'm really glad that the way all that went down. I'm grateful for my principles and objectives to help me recognize the poor emotional reaction that was about to color my response. Also, if I had responded immediately, it would have been without the consultation, or that sounds like I'm the decision maker. I'm not. Without the deliberation of my wife and I as a team, and then the decision making. Even though I was the spokesman, I'm not the decision maker necessarily. For some things I am, and for some things she is, Yumiko is. So that all went really well. I mean, better than well. You know, and then it opened the door for Emily to share more things, and Yumiko was right. Emily was, the thing that I was getting upset about, I was wrong about. I was thinking that Emily was being short-sighted and selfish. And Yumiko helped me to understand that Emily had simply found herself in a difficult, awkward position and was trying to extricate herself from that while doing as little damage as possible to herself and others. Probably mainly her others first and then herself. So glad I didn't respond initially. So I'm going to ride the satisfaction of that for the next 48 hours. It feels good, because usually that's not the case. It feels good to get past and by a tricky bit in life successfully, because so often it's not the case. The tricky bits get me. Other than that, good bit of reading yesterday. Good bits through the Johnson, good bits through the Norton Anthology. Okay, let's do the good life. 7 objectives and 30 principles. The first objective is to be always ready to die. Excuse me, and that's actually something that I'm doing right now is, excuse me, I'm working to get my files more settled. I have old hard drives that I keep some of my archived, life's files on. So I'm consolidating them all into one big drive. I know that even that'll go obsolete eventually. I'll just try to keep up as far as I can. One day I won't. I'll be dead, and and 10 years after I'm dead, Emily will find some archaic drive, probably about this big, with 8 terabytes of data in there. Then, oh, this is all Dad's files, all videos, blogs, all the writing I've ever done. Everything is on there. And she'll have no way to plug it in and do anything with it. And eventually it'll wind up in a landfill. I find that thought immensely delicious. My life in a landfill. I don't know, it's kind of a negative thing, but I kind of like the idea that all of my endeavors will one day occupy a few square centimeters, maybe much smaller than that, in a landfill. Versus like Boswell, James Boswell, who, this is really the reason, if you want anything to last at all, better write it down in earnest. Witness the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? For example, witness James Boswell, who had all of his diaries that were found in the attic. Is it an attic of a castle? Do castles have attic? In a room in a castle in like the 60s, after 200 years of laying around. Interesting. Good thing. That's why I keep my journal over there. A written journal. Okay. So I have everything in order. That's one of my objectives, so that when I die, It's my affairs in order, my relationships are in order, and my life's work is in order. The next objective is to be really make really good use of my time. That doesn't mean I can't have fun, but to not waste my time or just let it flitter away. And effective use, yielding good results. The next objective is to develop and maintain these 7 and 30 objectives and principles, to keep at them every day. And that's what I do now when I'm doing this Good Life meditation. It's my daily endeavor to attend to my objectives and principles and see how they're doing, testing them. It's the most deliberate thing I do outside of work every day. Next is to cultivate good emotional reactions so that I'm in a state of mind to recognize when things are about to go south so that I can stop that and keep them going north. Again, witness what I did earlier, 2 days ago, when I recognized I was not about to not react well to something Emily had said. And I'm proud of the fact that I dealt with that better. Next is to do good things, good actions, good deeds, so to speak. And then to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities. And then just to do one thing at a time and do that thing slowly, carefully, in a considered manner, reflective of my values and towards ends that are worthwhile, I guess is the word. Yeah. Okay, those are my 7 objectives. Now, the 30 principles are the principle of war, to always be fighting against what I think is true. The principle of because I don't want to believe stuff if it's not true. Then the principle of reason, and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt, which are the frame of mind and the perspective and the attitude that I take in moving through life. Then comes the principle called Homunculus, the reminder that I apparently do not have a soul, but I do have a consciousness, although that consciousness has a very short shelf life. We're talking summers now. Then comes the Anchorhold, the place where the homunculus resides within my head, a secreted, hidden place from anybody else. I can, its fruits come out through my mouth and when I speak, and when my face, the light in my face, and the writing that I do, and all that stuff. But ultimately, it's trapped inside here, as is yours, and we can't really be with one another. All we can do is semaphore across the void. Next comes home of good and evil. Good and evil are concepts and ideas and opinions that we have. They don't really exist outside of our minds. Then purpose. My purpose are to be a good husband and father, to be a virtuous human being, improving the well-being of others, and then to share my life mission, which is the development and expression of this good life creed. That is my mission. And I do that every day. This exercise, this good life video does that as well. And then the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, flowing and changing and forever transforming. And then the principle of nature. Everything has some particular nature. It's good to recognize what that is. Like it's my nature to lead, it was my nature to lead with emotions, but I'm more and more changing that nature to lead with reason, lead with consideration and due diligence. That's a good change. Then comes the pirate ride, the principle called the pirate ride, which is my suggestion that free will is an illusion. We don't really, these choices are we can make any choice we want, but after the fact, there really was no other choice that we could have made in that moment. It's a strange proposition that I can't prove, but I believe is true. So I share it and I hold it tentatively. Then comes the principle of maturity, the ability to improve over time by recognizing our successes and failures and doing better and having the strength and the fortitude to do better. Just like I did again witness the experience of 2 days ago of having the experience of remembering losing, leading with emotion and deciding not to do that. And then having a great partner to step in and help me out with that. Lucky me. And then the temperance, the ability to control my emotional reactions and to control my consumption and everything that I do in measured doses. And the sub-principles of suffering and simplicity, which are the hallmarks of a temperate life. Because you got to suffer a little bit when you're telling yourself no. And a temperate life is, by definition, a simpler life than a non-temperate life. Less confusion, less consumption, less upset, less bloat, less consequence, maybe. Okay, then comes the horror show. Life is this incredible, awful parade of horror. And it's coming for each of us. Had an example of that yesterday. Another glimpse of the horror show was scrolling through Instagram, and one of my the people that I follow on Instagram was talking at the camera, and I was like, "Who's that? Is that his brother?" It was him. He's got cancer, and he's at that point now. It looks like he just, I hadn't seen his video, him making anything for quite a while. And he's a family man, he's got kids, young kids. He's a young man and a wife and the whole thing. And he's lost enough weight at this point that he looks good. Looks really good. It looks like he's been taking good care of himself. But, that's an illusion. He only looks good because he's on his way down, right? I mean, he's losing weight fast. Just give him another couple of weeks, and that look of being lean is going to become gaunt. I think that's the right word. Emaciated. I don't know. I didn't really look too much. There were more videos talking about it. I haven't watched them. I am curious to see what's up with him. Anyway, that was all. Watch a damn friggin' horror show. Striking this seemingly wonderful. I mean, all I know is for his social media, which he does with his kids. So he seems like he's a really good dad and a really good husband, a really good guy. And bam, colon cancer. Damn horror show. So the next principle is called that which must be borne, carried, B-O-R-N-E. And what you have to bear is the fact of the horror show, all these things that we see. We also have to bear our responsibilities and our commitments and the consequences of our mistakes. Then after that comes the Feast of Offal, which is that thing that happens when you get upset and you throw it out into the world and just expel it and let others absorb it up. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a guy throwing my upset into the world and into other people's faces, nor when people are doing the same. Do I want to be the guy that consumes that? I mean, I can't help but notice, but I don't have to swallow it. So I don't. That's the Feast of Offal, is when we are sharing that out into the world. It's not a good thing. So I don't want to do it. And then it comes two principles together. Distraction is one, and then agency and the great indifference is the next one. Distraction is what we do to not see the great indifference, which is the emptiness of the universe, the void, the howling, wild emptiness, a universe without God. And so we distract ourselves with all the things in our lives, our activities, our family, our busyness, our problems, our gossip, our work, our television, our church, our baseball, whatever it is, all our life long. La 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 la, and suddenly the horror arrives and we're dead. And We cross ourselves and we wish, or whatever symbol we do, we wish and we pray that there's more. I don't think there is anymore. It's the void. So I don't want to. I don't engage in the. I do the distraction. I have to bring home the bacon, so I have to distract myself with all that work. But in my quiet moments, I don't reflect beyond the void. I stare. I try to stare it straight in the face, straight in the emptiness. Next comes the best seat in the house. To not want to be anyone else, be anywhere else, or be doing anything else, but to be okay with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing right now. Then the path of wildness, which is the way up, up, and outward into a new life. And then the risk of avoiding risk. The surface level risk of life, home, family, career, savings, retirement, all that stuff. And then the deep risk of finding ourselves, making our own story, becoming a man or woman over the man or woman of our dreams. That sounds weird, but that's what I mean. It's right. We have a dream, something we want to dream, and to become that person of that dream. Not that other way. Okay, then comes sin and damnation. The sins in my worldview are falsity, being untrue, credulity, believing things too readily, faith, belief founded on belief, superstition, belief that is of a categorically nonsense, dogma, belief based on a body of evidence that impresses us because it's impressive. That's the reason alone. That's different from, for example, scientific evidence that's impressive because it stands on its own 2 feet, and it suffers and withstands the scrutiny of peer review. That's a different type of dog. That's the different type of. It's not dogma. It's what is it? It's body of evidence. It's, how do you say it? Consensus. It's, consensus that's born out of a struggle to be shown wrong. It's tentatively held theory, or theory, hypothesis or theory, right? And then and then there's 2 more, I think, for the sins. Another one is authority, believing something because we're impressed by the outfit, the accoutrement, or the strong voice and verbiage of some figure. And then I think that's it for those. And then gossip is another sin. I don't want to do that. And the consequence is damnation in the here and now, not in some afterlife, but right now we're damned if we believe things that are not true and if we talk about others behind their back. Next is complete oblivion, the next principle. I don't think there's anything to follow after we're dead. We die, we wink out, we never see our loved ones again. We never have a chance to hold them or wipe away their tears, or they wipe away our tears. Never a chance to say I love you again. It's an emptiness, an obliteration as deep and as dark. It's not even dark, it's just nothing, as before we were born. That same vacuum void. That's what we're headed back to. So since we're not going to have a chance to reunite with our loved ones, and we're not going to have a chance to reconcile or to see justice applied, we have to seek after those things now. Call them today. I will. I'll call my mom today. Tell them that you love them. And do what you can to make things better. The great life adventure. One or more experiences that form the centerpiece of our life, that help to make our story. the season of philosophy, a time to record what we've learned along the way. Put it down on paper, write it make it in a video, dance it away, paint it away, whatever you want to do. Make some music. Just do it till the moment comes, because the moment passes. I'm getting an email already. Oh, geez, I'm waiting for that email. That was the last one I was waiting for. Gotta finish this and get to work. Turning the damn computer on, I can see work. Okay, there was this great life adventure, the season of philosophy, the bullseye aim, we strive for the mark and we usually miss. Uphill climb, climbing all through life. Just calm down, Kurt, settle down. Work can wait. Good emotional reaction. I'm excited about that because if that's what I think it is, then that completes a major deliverable. And what the heck is she doing up so early answering an email? But I'm getting carried away in it, right? Good news can wait. Let's stick with the other one. Okay, the uphill climb, arena and utility. Life is an arena. We get to use these tools and objectives and principles like tools. The nothing is enough. Trying to get by with less. Kind of like Temperance. And then the principle of fun and the sub-principles of hope and retrospect. Having a good time, which I'm doing right now. And then also remembering that the sweetest pleasure sometimes is the anticipation and then the looking back. That's my good life creed. So as for today, I'm anticipating a good day. I have 2 very important meetings today. I think I got them in hand. Things are going well. Wait for that other shoe to drop. And then I don't anticipate that. And then after tonight, it'll be 3-day weekend. Although tomorrow I'm looking forward to having lunch with one of my coworkers down in Orange County. So that'll be fun. I think I'll ride the motorcycle. All right, that's it. My good life meditation for today is done. I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe.